All right, let's get started. And for today, we have a short lecture. Okay, we have a short class lecture. And by the time 11:15, we will have 30 minutes. Very easy midterm. Okay, but let me give you the format. Okay, hopefully you can follow my whole recommendation. Okay, it will be easier for me to give you the score. Okay. You have one very simple questions that is from your book, all right? And you don't need any extra knowledge to answer the questions. So don't get nervous. It's very, very straightforward. And all information are all there, all right? You'll see one very short story there. And then on the bottom you will see there are two rules for the court to make the judgment. However, always, for any litigation, there are two sides. One is plaintiff, the other side is defendant, all right? And then after you read the story, that is called fact. Okay, when we read the story in the litigation, we say is fact, right? So this is fact. And you have the rule. And there are two rules, two principles, all right? So this is the process for your analysis. I don't care about the answer, all right? Your score eventually depends on your analysis. And think about this, you only have 30 minutes. You may spend like 10 minutes to read the questions, right? 5 minutes to lay out your writing, right? So you may only have 10 to 15 minutes left for your answer. So don't think about the big story, okay? So probably half page is good enough, all right? So this is the format, right? We use this very traditional logic. I believe you all know about that, right? We say R if R, then C, right? This is a very traditional logic. I believe you all learned that in college or even in high school, right? This is the logic. If R, then C. So R means those two principles in the story. C is the conclusion. So if you read, if this is this, and then this is the conclusion, right? So you have two R here. And then the next one, if you need to analyze. Once you establish F is R, then you see the conclusion. So you need to do the analysis whether or not the facts pattern provided in the story, whether or not this fact equal to or is or within R. All right? So if you can establish F is R, then you see the conclusion. If you negate it, say F is not R, then no conclusion. Understand? So if you were on the plaintiff side, your analysis is to tell me why F is R. F is the rule. F within the rule. If you were on the defendant side, you need to negate it. You need to tell me why your analysis can demonstrate facts provided here is not within the R. And you are not necessarily defendant or plaintiff. When you read my questions, you will know you are on which side. So that's the exciting part, all right? So again, for your midterm, I don't care about, you don't give me the answer, say plaintiff win the case or defendant win the case, okay? They will not earn you any score, okay? It will not give you any credit. I will see your analysis. At this moment, you do not know which part you present. Even I don't remember, okay? But when you read my questions on the bottom, you will know which side you're gonna represent to, all right? So again, for this, it's more like exercise eventually, okay? In the real life, I hope when you see any problem like this, similar to this, I hope you can adopt the same process to do the analysis. It's very, very reasonable analysis, all right? It's called logic analysis. So one more time, for this very easy midterm quiz, You have one story from a book. You read the story, that's called fact. On the bottom, you see there are two rules. It's adopted by the court to make the judgment. And then, of course, in the case, it tells you which side won the case. But that is not important. I don't care about that. All right? I care about your analysis. And you just follow out this recommendation. You find out what rule there are. There are two rules there. So if rule, then C means conclusion. This is the rule mean. Then your job eventually is more focused here. Okay, based upon the facts provided in the story, if you represent plaintiff, your argument, you need to tell me why. You tell me the fact within the rule, or say the fact pattern provided here is the rule. Or the other side, you represent for the defendant, you need to negate the case. You need to tell me why, from your analysis, why the fact provided here is not equal to the rule. All right, then you give me the conclusion. Conclusion is not big deal. So again, you have total 30 minutes. You spend 10 minutes to read the case, hopefully 5 minutes to lay out your writing. Then you may have from 10 to 15 minutes to provide your analysis, because there are two rules you need to analyze. So I will figure out you probably spend 5 to 6 minutes on each rule. All right, understand so far? All right, and after that, your choice. You either email to me, or you give me the hard copy. Either way, if you want to turn in the hard copy, you turn it into the office, and I can collect it. And the final time is 11:45. Any questions so far? It's kind of fun. Okay, it's kind of fun.
You need to do the two. You need to find two facts to.
No, there's only one fact.
I mean, you need to find two rules.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to analysis based on two rules. Okay, as I say, you don't need any extra knowledge to answer these questions, and I just want to test your ability to analyze. This is it. All right. So this is the pattern. All right. Okay. Come back to our topic for the day. Employment. All right. So let's think about this. You are running your own business. Oh, by the way, who's coming late? Okay, let me see. Who came in late? Okay, Yan Shi, right? Okay. We have Christine here, Christina here, all right. And Jirapong here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone I miss? Okay, still on the way. Okay. All right, so let's come back to our topic for today, employment. But before we get into the employment, we need to talk about agency, because employment is one type of agency. The reason why we want to discuss agency first, because we want to see the liability. So assuming you are running your business and starting from the one man, one person, one woman business, okay, which is very, very standard, okay, from the garage, and only one man, one person operate, but gradually you find out you are tied up, you're so busy, right? You cannot do anything, all right? So for example, this is a one man, one person online trading. You have your eBay store, for example, all right, which is very, very common in this area. You are running your eBay store as a side job to earn the extra money, which is fine, right? So you post the ad on the website, then you wait for, probably coming in, the order coming in, then you match the price, you match the availability, then you took the order and then you ship out, okay? And probably you can do very good management, you can keep zero inventory, which is good. You don't keep any inventory, so you reduce your risk, right? But the problem is if you want to maintain zero inventory, the risk is, when the order coming in, you cannot find. If the market is shortage, come out with the shortage, then you cannot deliver, right? Probably you're gonna ruin your reputation. That is the problem. But assuming everything running very well, but up until one point, you found you are so busy, you're fully tied up. And at this moment, you start to looking for the part-time help coming in. All right, from your family member, from your friends, from your church member, whenever you can find. All right. So tell me, please, everybody sitting here, if you are in this situation, you are on the market to find a person coming in as help, doesn't matter part-time, full-time, what is big factor in your mind? When you choose people to help your business, what could be the major factor for you to make the decision? Which person you're gonna pick?
Integrity.
Integrity? What else? A lot in material. Integrity?
Job skill.
Skill, right, skill, right. And then?
If the person is eligible to work in the United States.
Okay, status, good. Status, by the way, I have one client last week, for some reason was arrested. And the reason is illegal status. It's a very, very real, case. When I heard the case, I said, what? We have a meanness illegal here. How come he's the one pick out, But anyway, it may become the issue. Okay. Yes. What else? So you look at the ability, right? Integrity, skill, and legal status. What else? Assuming the job is very easy, just deliver, the merchandise from your from your garage to say local delivery, for example. If this is a local delivery.
How much money he has?
Pay, all right. Okay, what else? There's the one thing you miss. Okay.
Yeah.
Liability, right? Liability. You probably minimum you need to check, the DMV record. You don't want to have the person got minutes citation and did not pay it. Right? At least you need to make sure this person has a legal driver license, right? You don't want to run any risk, hire somebody and this person without any license, right? So yes, let's talk about liability issue. Yes, there are so many factors we need to take into account, right? But minimum you at least, I think this is totally legal, no any problem. Totally legal to verify whether or not this person has legal driver license, and also you can run the DMV record check, right, to see any citation or any not normal okay record there. All right, so you need to make sure. Do you remember I told you a few weeks ago? I have a client just rent a car and went through the bridge without paying anything. You remember that story? Mm-hmm. And that person got hundreds citation for the month, and the bill is more than almost like $10,000. Remember I told you the story, and finally this guy settled with the DMV and settled with the agency half price, cut to a half price. But this is $3,000 or $4,000. This is ridiculous. You don't want to hire people like this, right? So, as I said, when we get into the law of agency, that is about liability. That is about liability. There are three parties in agency relationship. So, for example, in our case, you are the employer. So, who you are in the relationship of agency? What's the name of your position? Well, agency, I believe your employee is your agency, is your agent. So your name is principal. Your name is principal. So there are three parties, okay? In the agency relationship, there are three parties, okay? The person who hired, somebody to run the business, that person is called principal. Okay, principal. And the person hired by you, that's called agent. And everybody outside your relationship is called third party. So we have principal here. That means in our story that is you. Okay. Then we have agent here. Then we have a third party here. And eventually after this class, I will send this slide to you. So we have three party here. Third party could be anyone. Could be anyone, or the other party you are dealing with. Okay, could be anyone. All right. So for example, you hire somebody as a helper, then that person hit anybody else on the way to deliver the merchandise, and as a principal, you will be liable. So keep this in your mind. This is a very, very risky business, right? So this is the reason why I told you, whenever you consider to hire anybody as a helper, you need to run at least a minimum background check. At least minimum background check. Minimum background check. And that is totally legal. And we'll talk about what is the thing you shouldn't do. Okay, I will talk about that, because right now we talk about on one side you need to do something, but the other side is something we need to avoid. All right. Okay, so principal, agent, third party, and then when we apply to the employee relationship, you are employer. We change the name of the head. Same relationship right now. Your name is employer. We have employee, and then of course we have a third party. All right. So at this moment, let's think about what kind of thing we shouldn't do when we interview with somebody else. Be careful, because right now we need to think about this is the balance. This is the balance, okay? At one side, we want to do the minimum background check to protect your liability, all right? But the other end is there is the legal limit. Certain things as an employer we cannot do. Can you tell me what's the story? What is the example? What kind of items we cannot do that?
Raises?
More specific? Can you elaborate more specific? What kind of thing we shouldn't ask? Age.
Gender.
We shouldn't ask age. Unless, by the way, okay, by the way, certain things we shouldn't ask unless that factors is really critical, okay, to this job position. If that factor is very, very critical, and that means that come in. You want to come in, have a seat. If that factor is very, very critical and it's become even requirement, you have to see. Okay. You want to see it? Sometimes the factor becomes so crucial and then related to the job performance, then we can ask. So can you tell me, say for example, general rule, we shouldn't ask age. We shouldn't ask age.
Marriage.
No, not yet. Hold on. We just use age as one example, okay? Oh, by the way, I think you are new, right? Oh, no, you are not new. So let me see. So Pepe is here. I saw Pepe is here. So yeah, because you said it behind. So we have Johnny, right? John. Well, Ali, right? Yes. And anyone coming in I didn't catch? So, okay. All right. So let's use age as one example. Okay. Right now we're talking about some questions we shouldn't ask. We try to avoid them. We have a lot of questions we should avoid that. We just use age as one example. Okay. So we shouldn't ask age. However, there's exception. As I said, if the factor related to the job performance and which is even required, of course, we can ask. Can you tell me any example? What kind of job may age related? Can you tell me the example?
Porter, to carry the heavy stuff. So
Is that related to the age or related to the physical? More related to physical, right? I still try to figure out any job is really age related. Of course, under minor probably that's not the issue we talk about. We'll talk about the regular mature person. Okay. Try to give me the brainstorm. Any job on the market right now may be age related, and then we can require this kind of job must under, for example, 45 or there's no job require more than 70, right? So let's assume any job you can require. Say this job.
Helper.
Huh?
Senior helper.
Senior helper. Okay. All right.
I've heard that.
You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
So
They
maybe
require-
I don't know. We can check the regulation. We can check the regulation.
They want
Maybe.
similar ages to help each other.
All right. So exclude the young age.
No, elder.
No, I mean,
Oh yeah.
right. Exclude the younger age. They try to ask the similar age for senior helper, right? So okay. Let's take that one temporarily. What else?
Ballerina, ballet dancer.
Ballet dancer. Dancer. Can you require the dancer must be under 25? Could we?
No, no.
Under 35?
Maybe after most of dancer after 45, 50, they cannot do it.
But is that related to physical? But again, the reason why we want to spend time here because I want to remind you, if you are the employer, I bet you have this kind of opportunity. In our whole life, we have such ability to hire somebody, right? So we must be kind of sensitive, especially in the United States. That the age issue is not really important in Asia. You can see, the flight attendant in Asia, so beautiful, so young, but which is not the case in the United States, right? You see that? You see the point, right? So, if the situation happened to you as an employer, we must be very, very careful about this issue. And age sometimes is very sensitive. So general is we try to avoid that. However, right now we are think about any exception. We can talk about age issue, Christina.
I was thinking flight attendants right before you said it.
Right, flight attendants again in the United States we don't have. We seems like no age limit, but in Asia there's kind of the overall accept already. The flight attendants in Asia must be very young. It must be certain height. It must be beautiful, So anyway, anything?
Runway models,
Oh, okay.
fashion model.
All right. Can we set out the age for the model? Could we?
Depends on what kinds of clothes they're showing.
Fashion. So say. I don't know. Okay. That's very, very interesting. Okay, that's very, very interesting. If you are hired a model, what could be the good excuse and reasonable legal excuse for you to reject someone, say, beyond a certain age? If we cannot mention this, I don't know. I need to do the research whether or not we can set out the age restriction or requirement. I still have a question mark there. But if really the job is, try to find some young person coming in, and the applicant coming is more than 45, and then how can you reject it?
We already hired someone, and now
Really? True story?
No, but it's always used. Like if you don't want someone, it's okay. Thank you for your attendance, but we already hired someone.
Right. I think this is good strategy. Everybody heard that? We cannot mention certain factor as a requirement for the job. We cannot mention that. However, in your mind, this person really not suitable. It's really not suitable for this job. Then the strategy is don't mention it. We don't talk about that. See? We don't talk about that. You can use any other excuses, legitimate Okay, say we have found somebody else already, so thanks, we really appreciate this interview, but the job being filled already. You got a point? You got a, this is the reason why I want to spend a few minutes here, because as I said, in our whole life, when we run our business, you will have such opportunity to interview. Okay, you want to hire somebody, but number one, you need to know in the United States, there are few items we cannot mention. If that item is not related to this job, we shouldn't mention that. We shouldn't ask. We should not even consider it. However, if the person coming in really does not fit into the job just because this factor, say for example age, then we will not mention it. We just use any other excuses. Say the job, you must tell the truth, okay? If the job's still open, you cannot, you cannot mislead, okay? So if the job really been filled already, you just told this applicant, say, we really appreciate your time, and then we keep your information, your file in our record for a certain time, but for this time we already pick up someone else. Got it? Any other input? Because this may become very sensitive. And in California, right, if any discrimination or something is not appropriate happen during the interview, and the applicant, they can file the complaint to the Department of Fair Employment.
Actually, I think while the employee got the resume from the applicants,
They already select. But the thing, right? Everybody got the point. Pepe just said, as an employer, eventually you read the resume first, right? You already read the background first. However, you also know in the United States, we cannot ask for the photo, which is, don't do it, okay? Again, this is a different culture because in Asian, we always ask photo first. We always, in Asian countries, almost like regular, it's almost like standard. When people send the resume, always come with the photo, but don't do it. In the United States, we cannot ask for photo unless the applicant, voluntarily provide it. So yes, we as an employer will have such opportunity to read through the resume first. Then you don't have any application, by the way. People sending in resume, we don't have any application to respond. You can just ignore it. But as a courtesy, we may send the email or send the very short message, say, we got your resume and we really appreciate it, and then we'll consider it. This is it. We don't have any legal obligation to do furthermore. All right. So is that what, Pepe, you just want to?
Oh, I mean, well, you can always calculate how many years they worked before.
Oh
so
yeah, you can estimate the age, right?
Yeah.
You are talking about still the age issue, right? Yeah. Right. Again, sometimes in real life, to be honest, in real life, age does matter. Right? Am I right? In real life, we all know, we all understand age does matter, even for any kind of job. But the thing is, in different society, there's different standard. There's different ethic or philosophy, okay? We just talk about in California, we cannot talk about that. All right, we cannot talk about it, so just be careful. So as Pepe just mentioned, you can calculate from the resume, when
We
started the first job or graduate from school, you can figure out that. All right. Okay. Oh, by the way, when we finish this issue, other than age, what else we cannot talk? We cannot ask for photo, by the way, okay? We can ask for photo. We cannot talk about marriage. We cannot talk about marriage. And there's one very, very interesting topic right now pending at the Supreme Court. And they just finished the oral argument, right? Last Wednesday, they just finished the oral argument, and that's a same-sex marriage. and the judgment probably come down in June. Usually it take 3 to 4 months, and we'll see the judgment. And we don't know, but maybe revolution, maybe there's a revolution, you know. We don't know, so we don't talk about marriage. We don't talk about marriage. Eventually, you know, this kind of concept change over and over again. Almost 70 years ago, if this couple, if they are not married, and the landlord in some state require not to lease the house to them. So right now sounds very strange, sounds very ridiculous, but not too long ago, 70 or 80 years ago, our moral system is totally different. Even legal system is totally different. So we need to follow what is the current one. Okay, so we could not talk about marriage. What else?
Religion.
Religions, we cannot talk about that. Okay, we don't talk about religions. Okay, especially in the United States. With respect to everybody,
Race.
race, we don't talk about that. We don't ask. We don't ask. So during the interview, you don't ask, you know, what is the origination? What is the origin? We don't ask. Okay, if you know applicant would like to talk about that voluntarily, that's fine. But as an employer, we don't ask. What else?
Oh, sorry, I'm late.
没关系，你的名字。
Hong H O N G.
Yeah. 红用树来。
Yeah, that's right.
Anything else you want to talk about? I got you. Maria, I got you.
What was the question?
Okay.
I'm
The
sorry.
question, the question is, we are talking about employment for today, okay? So our topic for today is employment. So I just make a one story. Say for example, you are employer. Okay, you are as a business owner, and then right now you feel so busy, so you are think about hire a helper, part time, full time, hire a helper come in. So right now you are interviewing. Okay, you are interviewing with the applicant. So there are some factors we shouldn't talk about that. There are some issues we will try to avoid that. So for example, age. We don't talk about age. We cannot ask for the photo. Okay. We cannot talk about marriage. We cannot talk about origin, that kind of thing. We don't talk about origin. We don't talk about origin, right? We don't talk about nationality. And what else?
What about religion?
We don't talk about religion, right? Either.
Yeah.
What else other than that?
Disability or not.
Disability or not, all right. But disability may relate to the job. So that kind of thing may be easy to handle. But again, we take to your point. What else? We'll talk about this issue, then we'll go into our main topic for today. Because the main topic for today, I will talk about what is the major difference between employee versus independent contractor. That is my main topic for today. But before we go into that point, we'll still talk about what kind of issue we should avoid. We should be very, very careful.
Or perhaps personal issues like, you know, unless you.
How many
go
family
into-
member, right? You don't talk about how many member, you know. Don't talk about that.
How about the criminal record?
Good questions. Good questions. Can we talk about criminal record?
They should. Some
Yes.
company ask for the background check before.
Yes, public
Okay.
information.
Yes. As long as there's public information, I think it's okay. As long as it's public, so I think, yes, you are right.
Well, the criminal record is already on the application. If an employee has a criminal background, it's on the app. If you have a felony, whatever, and you
Right.
check it off, and
Right.
then something that.
Okay.
So,
But there are two level questions here. The first level is, can we ask? Yes, we can ask. But the deeper level is tougher. Can we, based on criminal record, to turn down
Right.
the application? You understand? There are two level questions here. It is tough. That's tough for our employer. Yes, we can ask. We can even run the criminal check. But even we receive the answer, yeah, well, this person is a really bad guy. So the second layer question is, can we base on the criminal record to turn down the job?
Depends on the job, right?
Yes, again, that is good questions. Really depends on the job. Understand? We cannot turn down the application just merely based on the criminal record. If we want to turn down this application, we must again justify this criminal record impaired or cannot fully perform the job. For example, the job is elementary school teacher, right? And this person has very bad record, you know, monopolist. So you don't want to hire this person. You cannot eventually. If you already know about this, still hire, you have your liability, right? So again, this is the guideline. We can base on the criminal record to turn down the application, but we must, as an employer, we must justify this criminal record well, for sure. Okay, interfere or impair the performance of the job. Yes, Christina.
Professional department?
Yes.
Professional department?
Yes.
Is that something we
Yes, it's another very similar one. So professional, you know, environment. So this guy just lose the license, and of course, you know, even for the profession ethic code, they may be already required employer cannot hire. So as long as we have a legal guideline to follow, as an employer, we are safe.
How about the history of the psychology problem?
Yeah, how about that? Oh, number one issue, can we ask? Because again, always two level, right? If the first level we cannot ask, then we can ask, stop there. Again, but the conclusion is like paper already lay out, right? We use another legitimate reason to turn it down. We don't mention this, all right? So can we ask psychological background?
No,
Psychological background, can we ask?
no.
I think we can ask. This is private. So even we stop at the first level. So I don't know. Probably I need to do more research. Everybody, all of questions we discuss here, without the answer, it may become your final project. Everybody, right? So I try to give you the hint almost every week, right? So this good topic, we can do the study, we can do the research. Can employer ask the first layer? Can employer request psychological background from the applicant?
Professor, I remember in some of Medicare forms, they put a note like, do you have any family member have the mental problems?
Right, but that's for medical. Right now we are asking for about the job application. Right, so as a medical, if you want to see a doctor, I think, which is fine because it will not relate.
For Medicare.
But Medicare is for
Government.
right?
Right.
There's a job. It's kind of
No,
a job.
Just apply for.
Right, just apply, right?
Medical.
Okay.
Right.
If you just apply for the insurance or medical care or you going to see doctor, I think this is fine. But right now the issue is for your final project, if you want to pick up this topic, you need to limit the scope. You know, for the job application, can employer request potential employee to provide? I don't know. We need to do the research. There's good questions. You know, can we ask for, you know, the mental history? But right now my impression is we cannot. But you know, again, this is a good final project topic. Up to you. All right. I need to control the time limit. Okay. The last questions is very important. That's kind of dilemma. It's more like dilemma. Can an employer, we mentioned already, but I want to discuss again. Can an employer ask for legal status? Legal status to verify whether or not this applicant is legal.
Yes.
Yes.
You go to different questions.
Okay.
How do you ask?
That's very sensitive. by the way. I think the bottom line is yes. I think the bottom line is yes. Eventually, it's required. Eventually.
It's required.
Yeah, Maria.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because it's on the application. The application asks you, are you legally
To
in
work.
the US, I mean, provide documentation? Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
I think the answer bottom line is yes. However, I still want to remind you, okay, even though the answer is across the board, say straightforward yes. However, still be careful. I think Andy just mentioned that, and sometimes we need to be very, very careful about the wording. All right, and again, probably this is another good topic for your final project. Even though the answer is yes, but sometimes we need to be careful about the wording. We need to be careful about, you know, how can we design the questions. All right. So again, I leave this topic to you. All right. As an employer, we are not only required to ask, we are also required to maintain the paperwork. We need to collect the information. All right. So probably this is another final project for you. Okay. To what kind of extent, as an employer, to what extent we need to maintain the record? Can we ask the applicant to provide a copy of green card?
You don't have to, I guess. You can, after you read the resumes and you find out a few people good for the job, then you can just give them a form to let them fill up. Like include all the question in your interest. If they just leave it banned or some whatever reason, then you probably just do not consider this person.
Okay, but assuming we're gonna consider this person, and on his or her application, and this person answers yes, I'm legal alien here. But can we go one step further? Say, give me a copy of your green card.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Yes or no? Okay. Be careful. Okay. For this step, we must be very, very careful. Okay. We need to do the legal research. I don't have answer. By the way, I don't have answer. I don't have answer because right now, I think at this point, I don't know anyone sitting here. You are in the HR department.
I guess you can ask for a social security number if you
Okay,
don't have one.
but you did not answer my questions. Okay.
Yes.
You can ask for a social security number. That's fine. But you cannot ask for a copy of social security.
Yes.
You can.
You can ask.
Yeah,
You can ask.
you should have a social security copy and a green card or
Okay.
any other. You have to have two IDs.
Okay.
So your social security, but with two IDs.
Okay. Okay. This is one information from there. Okay. So at least for my job, I never turned in my green card or passport. I never. I've been asked social security number all the time. But at least for my life experience, I never. So I don't know. I need to do the research. So I just want to point out this issue, whether or not an employer can ask for a copy of the green card. That is my questions. I don't have answer. Okay. Yes, Mary.
I think this is part of the background check. Once we're given this, like for instance, the social security number, we can actually, if I'm the HR person and I have the capability of checking the information, that social security number, I can run it if it's legal. Same thing with the green card. I don't really have to get a copy of it.
Okay. So at this moment, we all agree. Okay. I believe the answer should be across the board the same. As an employer, we can always ask for social security number, and also we can, upon the agreement from the applicant, we can run the background check. That's fine. Right now, my question is more sensitive. Can we keep a copy of green card or passport in the file? That is my final questions. Yeah, Christina.
All right, well, with the I-9, you have to provide two different sources of documentation,
Yes.
such
Yes.
as a green card or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
So they actually have to physically look at it, document all the
Okay.
numbers and dates. And
Right, but physical look at that not necessarily mean keep a copy in the file. So my question is very sensitive. So again, we may not have an answer right here. I just want to pose the questions because as an employer, we are at one point is very, very difficult. At one side, the law requires us to do something, but when we cross the board, we may get sued. say we infringe the privacy. That's my point. So as long as there's a law back out our position, say as an employer, you must keep the file in here, then we are safe. We are safe. So that is my point. So, Mariana?
No, you should have a copy of the green card or ID, because the paper, when you fill it out the IRS form, they ask for it.
I still have questions there. I still have questions. So, yes, I know. We'll talk about that very soon, okay? We'll talk about that. Once you hire somebody coming as your employer, you need to ask these people to fill in the W-4 form. I will show you, okay? On the W-4 form, this guy must provide the social security number, and this guy must sign on it. But my question is still there. Can we go one step further, say, give me a copy of your green card? So the answer there is yes, and
I
we
say
may.
no.
Yeah, the answer there is no. So at least we have two different answers. So this may be the good topic for your final project. Say, Mariana, you say yes, then you say, okay, after I do this legal research, this is the law. Require the employer HR to keep the copy. My question is very simple, okay? I'm not talking about social security number. I'm not talking about the background check. I'm talking about can employer or should employer keep a photocopy of green card in the HR file. That's my questions. Okay, that's my question. So it's very narrow, okay?
So sometimes government will check the illegal workers.
Yes.
So if the company does not have idea or does not have the evidence to prove, then
the question is what kind of evidence? Is the social security number good enough, or you must keep a copy of green card? That's my question. You understand? So my question is, can or should employer keep a copy of green card in HR file? That's my questions.
Yeah, I would like to share you and classmates my story, my real story. Many years ago, when I have a call from the recruitment agency for doing translation of some documents for the school.
Okay.
And when I applied for that, then they very appreciate for my application, and they call me right away.
Mm-hmm.
And when I show up for an interview, then they ask me right away,
Okay.
do you have the eligibility to work?
Okay, they ask. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Okay,
the
alright.
first question.
All right.
And I said yes.
All right.
And they go to the next question. They ask, can you show me
All right.
what's the evidence, like
Good.
work permit,
Okay.
green card?
All right.
They don't ask social security number,
Alright.
because I think they don't have the capability to check the social security
Alright.
number.
Okay.
But they ask the evidence to they
You
can
show
read.
them. Okay.
Yeah, right away. So I show them, and they keep that copy.
So they keep the
File.
copy
Right.
and file. Okay.
Right.
This fine. This fine. All right. Okay. Anyway, I just want to pose these questions to you. So I believe right now the answer yes. As an employer, we should, or at least we can keep one photocopy of a green card, and probably this is a dub on it. Can we do it? Yes, Mariana.
You should keep a copy, because if that person is using a different social security number with everything that belongs to the other person, but you don't have a photo of that person, you can be in trouble because they're using different
Yes.
things.
Yes, I think it's
So
not
that's-
uncommon.
That's your proof that they show you.
Right, I think that's not uncommon in this area. People show you the ID, but there's fraud. It's fraudulent. It's fake. It's fake. So as an employer, how can we try to fulfill our obligation? Right? Because we need to fulfill all legal obligations. See, minimum check and made a copy. I don't know. Still need to do the research. Okay, but how can we protect our liability? That's key point. Because right now sitting here, I assume you are employer. Of course, sometimes you become employee. Really depends. But right now in this class, I just assume, you are in the employer position, and how can we fulfill our obligation and avoid the penalty, or even we have an obligation, right? We have a penalty application, right? We may. All right. Okay. So we have an agency law right now. Okay. Then we talk about the main issue for this class. When we pick out the employee, when we choose someone coming as a helper, what is the major difference in terms of business, by the way? Okay, right now we only from the standpoint of business concern, okay? We don't talk about too much detail. As a business person, right? You want to expand your profit as much as possible. You want to control your cost as low as possible. That's what I mean, business person. So, based on this business concern, why do you prefer independent contractor over employee? I already give you the hint already. So, probably for the business concern, when you hire the person coming in, probably you rather configure this position as independent contractor instead of employee. And tell me why.
If you benefit, you don't need to cover the person.
Okay, one by one. So probably you don't need to provide the benefit to the independent contractor. All right, we'll talk about that. All right.
Less expense. Independent contractor, they're in the business, like I am, for instance, and I know that they are to provide me service, and we're talking about they're more experienced, and
Okay.
I don't have to worry
Okay,
about.
I think overall, probably, I think to simplify the whole thing, if this person is identified as an independent contractor, at least employer does not pay for
Tax.
employment tax, payroll tax. This is what they call payroll tax. Payroll tax is not cheap, okay? It's almost around like 18%. If we use the 20%, you know this is a 1/5 already. So I think overall speaking, as a business person, as a business owner, the reason why we try to identify this person as an independent contractor is we can at least we save payroll tax. Payroll tax, they including what? Including Medicare and unemployment, right? Social Security, workers' comp, tax withholding. A lot. Overall speaking, about 20%, almost like 20%. And so payroll tax is one considered, right? And again, we can avoid the benefit, right? We don't provide independent contractors a
Vacation.
pay vacation, for example, pay vacation. And we avoid the medical insurance, right? And such thing. However, we'll talk about it very soon. Let's talk about what kind of job could be very standard, typical independent contractor. What kind of job? There's no argument. This person work for you is almost 100%. You can define as an independent contractor. What kind of job?
Construction.
Construction. Say for example, you hire somebody come in to maintain your yacht, for example. Okay? Just maintain your yacht, the yacht work. I think for most of you, any one of you still do your own yacht work still? I don't. I confess, I don't. So, like this kind of very, very, regular, ordinary, typical job, you hire the people come in to maintain your yacht work. I think that's almost 100%. Nobody argue, right? We are not talking about. Be careful, okay? We are not talking about the amount of money we pay. We don't determine whether or not this is an independent contract just because the money we pay. We do not base on the amount of the money. We talk about the natural, okay? What else could be straightforward independent contractor? Contractor including a lot, yard work or house repair.
House cleaning.
Yes, that kind of thing. What else could be independent contractor?
Software engineering.
But that's arguable, so we keep that, we keep that later on. Okay, we'll we'll talk about that later on because that's the main one I will discuss. What else could be very typical independent contractor? You hire people come in to perform the service, then you pay for the compensation, and there's no argument. The payment you pay out is not salary.
Real estate agency.
Lawyer.
Agency.
A lawyer like me, yeah, lawyers. But this is arguable, yeah.
Real estate agent.
Real estate agent. This is defined by the by the IRS. We hired the real estate agent come in to help us to find a house or sell the house, and you pay certain percentage. That is almost defined by IRS already. That is the independent contractor.
Could be good